Hey, namaste. How's it going? So there's a couple things that's been coming through today, so I really want to make a vlog about it. One was an article that I read about something along the lines of sort of fake spirituality, or people who are spiritual but they're kind of not fully aware of certain aspects of spirituality, of how to really embody our kind of soul essence and be one with all that is. And one of them that struck a chord with me was a kind of denial or ignorance about the greed, the corruption, and the kind of negative aspects that are going on in the world that we perceive. And it struck a chord because that's often something that brings resistance in the talks that I do and how I communicate with people, is that I speak about obviously having a profound awareness of how crazy the world is, and how there is war and there's famine and there is some serious issues that we're all facing ultimately, but that I don't feed it attention. So I don't let myself get brought down by it. I'm aware of it in the aspect of, so long as I'm attacking it, so long as I'm judging the external world and all of the apparent corruption, greed, power struggle, so long as I'm feeding it in the sense that it's making me angry and it's making me super upset, I'm actually feeding it in that sense. And so I explain that I have an awareness of it, I just don't feed it, I just don't engage in it. Instead, what I do is I look at my own reactions on it, I look at my own hatred, I look at my own anger in everyday life. If things are still making me angry, I have more healing work to do. And what I've discovered in my own experience is that the more we heal and transmute and take responsibility for our own emotional reaction patterns, in particular dark, heavy, burdensome emotional patterns, then it's in us to take responsibility, own it, and transmute it so it no longer has power over us. It's not that it doesn't exist. We live in a world of duality and contrast. In fact, we live in a universe of opposing forces. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in existence. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to perceive and live. There has to be a balance of the light and the dark. It's just that right now I feel on this planet that there is a transitioning into more light, that we're experiencing higher levels of awareness that are making us remember kind of a much broader reality, and that as we expand individually and collectively, it's apparent that there is a very dark energy, and that there are sort of veils of illusion that people are and that all of us probably at some point on our soul's journey on this planet have been in darkness. I mean, in this lifetime, I look back and think I just didn't know I didn't know, and that's like the Jesus or that Bible saying of, you know not what you do, or they know not what they do. When we're in the dark, that none of us are aware, right? And that's why we go inward and forgive ourselves for this creation, forgive ourselves, and thus we forgive others. And then that makes me think about, I was catching up, Sam and I were watching our truths yesterday, and it really just hit home. Like, I guess it's the fact of, and it doesn't matter because it's still to do with another person's reaction, but it's wanting to make it very clear that that token of being aware but not engaging. So I don't watch the news. I don't watch or read the newspaper. If anything, I'm finding naturally, I'm not even drawn to watching sort of programs on BBC or Channel 40D. Well, obviously I don't have TV, but I'm not even watching. I used to watch Made in Chelsea, and that was a big sort of guilty pleasure. And I'm not it's almost like the days there's no time for that. I sit and think a lot more. This morning's meditation was super profound, like inner guidance and an awareness of sort of angelic entities that are around me, and new things are coming through that beyond my wildest dreams, beyond what I ever imagined this life to be like. And that is really, really exciting. And I know there's a lightness and there's a power in that. And when I watch the truths, it reminds me of how deeply passionate I am about creating a harmonious planet, of feeding the hungry, of housing the poor, of making sure that the people who are ready are allowed to stand in their power, and that we are together allowed to uplift one another. We're meant to be happy, we're meant to be joyous, we're meant to be perfectly healthy, and beyond, you know. You think about that spiritual essence that we all are. I mean, heck, we could be flying, we could teleport, we could do wonderfully magical things. But of course, we need, as a collective, we need to wake up, we need to enlighten, we need to remember, so that all together we can raise our frequency and we can really truly enjoy life, and we can love and support one another through those darker aspects of ourselves that we might still be holding. So in no way is there a sense of sort of burying my head in the sand and only wanting to talk about love and light, and, you know, like it's all happy, it's all joyful. And there is a lot of joy and there is a lot of happiness, but I think in these times of transitions, it's about discernment, and it's about really flexing that discernment aspect of our intellect, so that we know the difference. I know the difference between just ignoring it, like not wanting to, like pretending it's not there, and actually honoring the totality of our experience and saying, yes, there's greed and corruption, and that's why that I'm doing the work that I'm doing. And I think a lot of people are choosing slightly different pathways so that we can find and attune and relate to one another in our own way, not under this distorted veil of illusion that we're all powerless and that we're all just consumers and that we're all just sort of meant to, you know, chase the fame. And if you're not someone like that, then you're just a nobody, and you know, the best you're ever going to get in life is a minimum wage job or something like that, that really doesn't make you feel good. And I think as long as we're aware of being in service to one another, as long as we're aware of supporting and helping one another, we will find our right communities. We will find the people who resonate and who can see the same vision. And that's something, I can see a little one of my rose quartz balls. I'll have to put it back in my water jar. I'm definitely experiencing that now. It's quite an interesting thing, is that friends of mine and people that I'm meeting right now, that we actually, as we communicate and as they come to me with like an idea for a business or sort of what they see for themselves, we all have the same vision. So that's pretty miraculous to me. You could say serendipitous or coincidental. But what's happening is that I'm focused solely on my creation or what I'm creating for this lifetime and on this planet. And everyone that's turning up in my life is reflecting back to me that same creative force. Like, I had an idea for a festival, met up with a friend, he was like, hey, let's do a festival. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, that's amazing. I've had this great idea for a kind of a healthy, happy hub that's very creative, sort of holistic, but also lots of fun, good music, all that kind of stuff, healthy vegan food. And I Skyped my friend who's been in Cambodia for the last 3 years. She's now, and it was amazing because I had this strong intuition, like the day before I spoke with her, like, I have to speak with her, we have to Skype soon, like really strong. And I had this sixth sense that she was going to be coming home soon. So we talk on Skype, she's coming home, and she tells me about her business idea, which is almost identical, if not identical, to that vision I had of the healthy hub, because my feeling that I'm getting is that these healthy hubs were probably not the only two people. I think there's a whole bunch of people in the area and abroad in the world, and especially in the UK, because the UK is really shifting. There's quite like a dense frequency holding that's getting ready to kind of go. And I think it has a lot to do with these inspired ideas that are coming through Lightworkers and working together. So it's not just about an isolated area. I think my friend and I are probably going to be setting up these healthy hubs all over the country and working with people in different communities to make sure that each community has a light-filled presence for the people who are awakening when it's time for them to come. So yeah, re-educating ourselves about food, re-educating ourselves and enlightening ourselves about the political agenda, and definitely coming together so that we can organize ourselves. It's this time, it's a time of connecting, it's a time of remembering, and it's a time very much of empowering ourselves into the light, into our divine awareness, so that we can make a bloody difference, right? So that we can actually do the positive things that we want to do. I can't do it by myself from my bedroom, right? It's about a community. It's about us working from that enlightened place and deliberately creating what that inner guidance is asking us to create, because we're in service to this planet, right? We're in service to one another and ourselves, but really we're in service to this planet and like the solar system and what is asking to be created. And that's when miracles happen and you just follow through with that inspiration. Life is easy, life flows, and it becomes like beyond your wildest dreams, because obviously like a divine, eternal and infinite force is probably going to be a little bit sort of more powerful than me alone, like my perception of this person Molly or whatever. I think once you kind of just let go and say, okay, just show me what to do, show me where to go, life starts to get really cool and really fun and really exciting. And we just have to kind of work it and remind ourselves and remind each other that we are really, really amazing beings. And the more we wake up to that, the more life gets really, really awesome. So have a wonderful day. I hope you've enjoyed. Thanks for tuning in. Namaste. Peace out, y'all. All to love. All to love.